Hi everybody, welcome to Simply Scuba. In today's deep dive, I'm going to be showing you how to change the inflator hose, or more specifically, the corrugated hose on your BCD, or just swapping over the inflator if your inflator is knackered and you need to get a new one. It's pretty simple, but there is something on the inside that you do need to take care of. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so first of all, the tools that you're going to need. So the first thing you're going to need is a pair of side cutters, because you usually have some kind of cable tie attaching your inflator onto the corrugated hose. So a pair of side cutters are useful. At least one cable tie. Some BCDs require two, but as long as you have a few to hand, they are essential. A sharp knife, I usually use a craft knife just to tidy up the edge. Do be careful with that, obviously, and usually a pair of pliers or needle nose pliers just to tighten up that cable tie. So let's take the inflator off first of all. So this is pretty simple. So you've got the corrugated hose, you have your inflator, and then around it will be one, sometimes two cable ties. And around there, we'll have what I like to call the nut, the section of the cable tie that zips through and holds it all together. So with your side cutters, I usually go to the side on, making sure I'm not going to damage the hose or the inflator, and just get the sides of those jaws underneath that nut, give it a little squeeze, again, check that you're not going to damage anything, and then keep going, making sure again that it's clear, and then keep going until it goes. Remove that, and then you should just be able to pull that inflator off. With a lot of inflators, it'll have a stainless steel cable on the inside like this. So this is for a couple of reasons. On this BCD, it's just to help protect that hose from overstretching. On a lot of other BCDs, if you have a pull dump on your left-hand shoulder, you pull that inflator down and it vents over your shoulder. This is what's activating that mechanism. Now that's held in place with a little bar, and if you just give it a little nudge with like a screwdriver or your needle nose pliers, you'll be able to pull this little pin out and then unhook. My one's covered in some kind of glue. So clear that up and just sort of keep hold of that. Sometimes it does pull its way back into the corrugated hose, but you don't want to lose it. There'll be a little loop in one end. So then after you've taken your new inflator, I'm just going to use the same one again. Pop that little pin back in. There'll be a hole in the inflator. Pop it back in only about 3/4 of the way, because you need to hook that that cable back over it. Push it back in until it's flush on both sides and it's caught that cable nice and secure, and then literally pop your new inflator back in. Now, this is important to make sure that your inflator is facing the right direction. So take the BCD and sort of put it on, make sure that the buttons are facing the right direction, facing forwards or whatever you prefer. And then get your new cable tie, put it over loosely. Again, double check that everything is in the right position. Some corrugated hose will have an actual area where you want to put that nut. Others is just a bare circle, so that's up to you. But you'll notice there's a little ridge in the hard section of the inflator. You want to make sure that it's below that, so it's really pinching and it's holding that hose in position. And then when it's in a nice convenient place, just do it finger tight, and then with your pliers, I like to just twist it, and that just gives you a really good tight grip. Then you can use your side cutters to cut off that excess. But then this section is really sharp. You want to clean that up. That's why we have our craft knife. Again, be very, very careful and just slice off that tip until it's really smooth and it's not going to catch or hurt anything. And there you have it. Simple as that. And yeah, just double check, have a look over everything, make sure it's nice and secure, but otherwise you are done. At the other end of your corrugated hose, attaching it onto your BCD, you'll often have an elbow joint like this. This is very similar to a lot of the auto dumps and the pull dumps on your BCD. It's very quick and easy to check, and this is quite handy to do from time to time just to check that the seal is nice and clean. So you'll have a collar that just goes around that elbow joint, and that's usually just finger tight. If it's any tighter, just use some sort of warm soapy water to soak it. There might be some salt crystals building up in that thread, and unscrew it. And then that's how you remove the entire inflator assembly. Underneath it, just check this seal. You've got this gasket here. Just make sure that's nice and clean. There's no salt or anything sort of build up on that. Check this sealing surface. Make sure that's nice and clean as well. You'll notice that this has it's not a perfect circle. It has all of these sort of straight edges, and those marry up with this section, and that's so that you can angle which direction that elbow points out of the bladder. So you can control where your inflator hose kind of sits over your shoulder, and then all you have to do is just line it up however you like it. I prefer to unscrew this collar as I'm trying to attach it, and at some point it will click. That way you know you're not going to cross thread like that, because if you screw it in, it's just plastic on plastic, and if it's not perfectly set, you can cross thread the screws and you can end up damaging those threads. If you unscrew it, you know that it's lining up and then it's straight, so when you do screw it in, it's nice and neat. Just finger tight, and just give it a little kind of nip, and that's it. It's not sort of high pressure systems or anything, but as long as it's nice and neat, that's good to go. After that, after you've changed anything, just inflate it until the overpressure valve goes, deflate it a little bit, just to put a little bit of sort of rest on those seams, and just leave it for about a day or so, just to double check that it doesn't start to sort of leak any gas. Otherwise, you're good to go diving. Okay, so after a leak test, if you've got a dunk tank, then you can dunk it under the water, look for any kind of leaks around any of the seals that you've just changed, but otherwise it's ready to go diving. More information on our website, simplyscuba.com, definitely worth checking out. If you've got any questions, queries or anything, let us know down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and of course, safe diving.